The episode begins with Shadow receiving assistance from Beta, who tells him that there hasn't been any clear activity from the Diablos factions in the kingdom of Medgar since the incident at the previous Boshin festival. The smaller factions had been in a state of stagnation before, but now the Venereer faction, which was undergoing restructuring, has resumed its movements after the recent disturbance. They claim that everything is going according to plan, and they can now focus their main efforts on the situation in the kingdom of Oriana. Shadow expresses his surprise and asks about the exciting news, to which Beta responds that there has been a recent acceleration in the flow of money to the lawless city that doesn't belong to any country. She explains that it's a large, impoverished area where the world's evils, wealth, and power converge, and any disturbances there could have far-reaching consequences for the rest of society. Despite their desire to concentrate all their efforts on their plan, Beta reluctantly admits that they may need to deploy additional forces to this area immediately. Shadow senses the scent of blood coming from the lawless city and predicts a storm of blood is approaching. The organization members are perplexed when they notice that the moon's color has become redder than usual, resembling the legendary red moon. They explain that a similar catastrophe occurred 1,000 years ago, and if the lawless city remains in its current state, all the surrounding nations will suffer the consequences. Alpha speaks up, saying that facing this challenge may even strip the legendary red moon of its significance. Shadow insists on going alone, and the members express their concerns for his safety. He reassures them, saying that the red moon is the only concern. Alpha tells him that even in facing the legendary red moon, he will still find beauty in it. They wish him luck in the upcoming battle, acknowledging that the red moon was once just an ordinary moon, but now it serves as a warning for the living queen of blood. Only Shadow and the organization know this information, and they praise his improvisational skills with humor. Afterward, the two individuals say, "So this is the Crimson Tower ruled by the Blood Queen. She is one of the 3 rulers of the lawless city." Then they explain that it's the castle of the bloodsuckers, and no one dares to approach it because getting too close will lead to instant death. Not even the strongest creatures can challenge it. The guard they encounter is surprised by their words, laughing at them and saying, "You two don't deserve to pass through this gate." The only ones allowed in here are servants, guests of the Blood Queen, or powerful warriors. The two strangers surprise the guard by responding that they are not servants or guests but powerful warriors who have come here to hunt the Blood Queen. The guard laughs at them again, saying that he enjoys it when he finds someone even more foolish than himself. He begins to take off his cloak and explains that this is what happens to fools who dare challenge the Blood Queen. He lost his right arm, and now they are crying for help like a guard dog tied to a post. The two warriors assure the guard that they are not weak like him. The guard then tells them to consider something for the afterlife, revealing that his power level is 4 million. He mentions that he used to be known as the White Devil and was a wanted criminal with a huge bounty on his head, but now he's just a guard dog for the Blood Queen. He taunts them and begins to attack. In the morning, we find Shadow in the city, remarking that the lawless city resembles a garbage dump as he imagined. Claire tells him to stop investigating because drawing the attention of peculiar characters will be bothersome. She suggests going to the Crimson Tower, but Shadow decides to go to the Union of Dark Knights first for a planning meeting. Claire asks what it is, as she hasn't seen this union in the area before. Shadow explains that they have their own special group of Dark Knights, and the Union of Dark Knights is an unofficial organization. The Union of Dark Knights is an unofficial organization that was formed by the Dark Knights themselves, and it does not belong to any public institution. Shadow, who goes by the name Minoru Kageno, tells his story of how he was once on a path to become significant in the shadows, but his journey came to an abrupt end. His sister Claire won the Boshin Festival Championship and used her connection to Gamma to book a free dinner to inform him that she was going to the lawless city to hunt vampires. After the tournament, she headed straight for the battle. Later, we see Shadow with his sister Claire, who is pulling him along. She brought him here with her for his future, as he will inherit the property in the remote area. Shadow never really thought about what he would do after graduation, as Claire will inherit the property there. He believes that they will force him into some job somewhere. Since he's capable of doing anything he wants, he doesn't really care about the nature of the job he'll have. Claire asks him what he wants to do, and he tells her it's a secret since he's keen on not revealing his true intentions to anyone. She asks him to stop trying to hide the fact that he never really thought about it. At this moment, a man approaches them and speaks to Claire, inviting her into his store. He has obtained new and high-quality pets, which arrived just this morning. He's selling these valuable goods at a discount. The man, who is referred to as the pet master, has multiple injuries on his body. Claire advises him to handle his merchandise with more care. He explains that he received a few blows during transportation, and the price for the pets is 30 million zeni. However, he offers to give them a special deal for 27 million. Claire agrees to the offer, and the merchant adds that this person with her will make it 40 million just for her. She agrees to this as well. Shadow watches them closely, as he has seen them somewhere before. Claire finishes the deal with the merchant and leaves on her way. After being saved by Mary, Shadow realizes that he can't move in his current state, but Mary doesn't want to leave him behind because she knows he would be lost without her. The next day, as Shadow is strolling down the street, he encounters a man who steals his wallet containing his money. Then, another man gives him multiple wallets filled with money. He can't believe how easily he has become rich just by walking in this city, which he considers a paradise. As he heads home, he hears a man screaming as he beats up a young boy. The boy had made the man lose a bet, and the man's girlfriend, Mary, rejected him. Shadow realizes that the man being beaten is a vampire follower. In this world, survival goes to the strongest, exactly as Shadow had expected from the lawless city, a place drenched in bloodshed. Shadow senses that something is about to happen, and indeed, he sees that the moon has turned red. He thinks it's a surge of magical energy. The vampire who had been beaten up earlier suddenly transforms into a beast and begins to kill the men who had attacked him. Anyone bitten by him will become a vampire like him. Shadow understands that the change in the moon's color is responsible for this transformation. The red moon activates all the magical energy in the city, and if left unchecked, the situation will worsen, with everyone turning into monsters. Shadow contemplates whether to run away like an inconspicuous person as usual, or fight them. At that moment, Mary arrives and saves him, killing the two monsters. Shadow asks her about herself, and she introduces herself as Mary, an ancient vampire hunter. Shadow asks her why she came to save him, and Mary explains that if she didn't, he would have died. She warns him that the frenzy has begun because of the red moon, and there's no time to waste. She advises him to escape if he doesn't want to die. Then she leaves him behind. We then switch to Shadow's sister, who enters his room but doesn't find him. Instead, a man exits the adjacent room, screaming because there are vampire followers inside. Shadow's sister attacks and kills him, then asks about Shadow's whereabouts, but he doesn't know where he is. After that, Shadow's friends appear on the street, admiring this girl. Then, someone approaches and startles them. They look and see many vampires, and everyone is terrified and runs away. However, the vampires kill them. We see the girl looking out the window, very scared. Then, one of the vampire men enters, and she panics and screams. But Shadow arrives just in time and kills him with a powerful blow. He tells her to escape if she doesn't want to die, as the frenzy has begun. He leaves, but she talks to him, asking for his name. He answers that he is Shadow and leaves. Then, another girl approaches her, asking if she's okay because a man named Shadow came and saved her. The girl tells her that she knows him, and he is the evil mastermind who used to enjoy beating corrupt religious men, and he's a danger to any of this city's rulers. However, Mary reassures her that he is not evil. She gathers her things and plans to escape the city. Her friend advises against it, fearing the consequences if they are discovered. During their conversation, Yuki comes and advises her to try escaping if she's lucky. She might succeed. Mary then informs her that the vampires are roaming the city. Later, we see Shadow's sister crying because she found a dead person who looks just like him on the ground. She apologizes to him for being in that place. Mary comes to Shadow's sister and tells her that she is the woman who has been wandering and asking about a boy with black hair and black eyes. She had met him recently and found him dead here. Claire, Shadow's sister, responds that the dead person doesn't have black hair or black eyes. She saw his green eyes lying on the ground. She also mentions encountering two men who match the description she provided to her brother. Claire then gives Mary the head she was holding and asks her to tell her more about the place where she saw her brother. Mary describes seeing the first man when the moon turned red and he was standing in front of a raging ghoul, smiling. Claire explains that this can't be her brother because he would scream but never smile. Mary then describes the second man she saw recently, a young dark knight with no distinct features. Claire concludes that this must be her brother. Mary reveals that the followers of the Vampire Queen are taking him to the Crimson Tower, where the Blood King resides. The vampires intend to offer him as a sacrifice to awaken Queen Elizabeth from her 1,000-year slumber, and they need the blood of a young, living person for that purpose. Claire tells Mary that this is the first time she's heard that the Blood Queen was in such a state. Mary responds that they've kept this fact hidden, waiting for the fateful night which has been 1,000 years in the making. On this night, the vampires will gain tremendous power when the red moon appears again. The red moon also affects the sleeping queen, using the blood sacrifice as a catalyst. There's no doubt she will return to life. In any case, Mary assures Claire that her brother is undoubtedly in that tower. If they need the blood of a living person, it means he's still alive. Suddenly, a group of vampires emerges, drawing their swords and swiftly eliminating them. Mary tells Claire that her goal is Queen Elizabeth, the Blood Queen. So they must go to the Crimson Tower and their destination is the same. They decide to cooperate and quickly make their way to the tower. Mary explains that entering from the ground floor will be challenging, but there's another way. We then see young people running in fear from the vampires. The scene shifts to a bald man named Juggernaut the Tyrant, who is ecstatic about the impending battle and the smell of a great fight. He tells another man about the battle, saying it's the biggest they've seen since the invasion of the half-monsters in the past. In another scene, a group of knights is told to run across the rooftops to reach the station and escape. One of the female knights questions their unity and purpose as dark knights. However, nobody pays much attention to her words. They leave, and only one female knight remains with her. The remaining knight tells her that they can't stand their ground on the main street. Suddenly, the place is overrun by vampires in great numbers, and they are all terrified. They realize they won't be able to take down such a large group. The other knight leaves in a hurry, leaving the girl alone. However, a person suddenly annihilates all the vampires in an instant. And we find that the person who has eliminated the vampires is indeed Shadow. He tells them to flee if they don't want to die because the frenzy has begun, and they have little time left. The scene then shifts to the evil Crimson Sama, who informs his underlings that the preparations for the sacrifice are complete and their plan to seize the city is going as planned. However, they are facing unexpected resistance in certain areas. Crimson Sama mentions the two fools who are talking nonsense about being equals with him. They are Yukimi, the spiritual fox ruler of the White Tower, and Juggernaut the Tyrant, the ruler of the Black Tower. Crimson Sama instructs his assistant to let them do as they please and dispose of them as soon as Queen Elizabeth is revived. The assistant then informs him that there is another person who wanders the city and kills ghouls. On the other side, we see Juggernaut the Tyrant fighting zombies, killing them one by one. He then attempts to kill Yukimi, the spiritual fox ruler of the White Tower. She tells him that he is indeed a hindrance on her path and to stop emitting his foul scent in the city, calling her an animal. They begin to engage in combat. Afterward, Shadow appears in the sky and tells them that nothing changes even if someone tries to weave a new story somewhere. He doesn't change, and suddenly he swoops down towards the two who were fighting, surprising them with his strength. And that concludes the first episode of the second season. Stay tuned for more episodes and please subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to receive updates.